For daily ask Reddit, what's your best back quote? But wait, it gets worse story. I was a manager at a hotel in Oakland. A valet parker took a guest's Corvette out for a joyride. He lost control of the car in a residential area and crashed into a parked car in a driveway. The Corvette and the parked car smashed through the home's garage door and caught on fire. The home partially burned down. The valet was caught by the police a block away fleeing on foot with a broken leg. An acquaintance got married in an extravagant $80,000 ceremony, that's $57,000 in freedom dollars, and broke up on their honeymoon. But wait, it gets worse. They split because the groom was cheating on the bride with a string of one-night stands. Meanwhile, the bride was having an ongoing affair with the best man. But wait, it gets worse. They pretended to stay married for 6 months after out of shame, but it all came tumbling down when he made a huge Facebook round calling her a whore and tagging all their friends and family in it with the most dramatic shitstorm of a comment section known to humanity. But wait, it gets worse. The bride and the best man decided they wanted to have a baby and she immediately ran off with him and got knocked up. In 2018, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer in April. My stepdad was diagnosed with terminal cancer in June. My mum was diagnosed with cancer in September. Treatable, thankfully. One of my closest friends was diagnosed with cancer, also treatable, in October, and I had to have my 12-year-old bunny put down a few days later. Then in November, my aunt died. I was in work when I took the call about my aunt and I just couldn't stop laughing because it was so ridiculous that this was happening all one after the other. It was hysteria. I wasn't amused by her passing. Fast forward to 2020. My stepdad died at the beginning of May and my dad died at the beginning of June. The friend who had cancer in 2018 called me the day after my dad's death to say her cancer is back and it's in her bones. And then my dad's funeral was scheduled for 3 days before Father's Day, which happened to be the day before my birthday this year. So yeah, that's my tale of woe. Worst thing is, I'm not convinced I'm even at the end of the story yet. I was in a rush because I woke up late. I then stubbed my toe really badly on the table. I had to rush to the embassy to get my passport done. I almost finished the 3-hour drive to get there when I realized I forgot all the documents I needed for my passport. I currently live in a 3-bed 1-bath house. My roommates were getting married and had a bunch of bridesmaids over at the time. A couple of them stayed the night after drinking. I wake up the next morning with a massive shit festering in my stomach. Every move I make I feel it's just gonna squeeze out. I heard both girls in the bathroom giggling and getting ready, so I panic, grab a roll of toilet paper and head to a remote part of the backyard. When I went out back, I left the door cracked enough for our shih tzu to sneak out. I didn't see him while I was shitting and ran back inside to grab a plastic bag. The girls had just walked into the living room. I chatted them up, avoiding the fact that I just shit in the backyard. Finally they left and I returned to my shithole. It was half eaten and my little old dog was face down it, slurping it up. Disgusting, right? I had to clean his face off with rags and water and soap. Before I could muster all of the items up, he jumped on the back patio furniture and ran his shitty little face through everything. Then he shook as I walked up to him, flinging my own feces every which way. I finally cleaned him and put him inside. I cleaned up the couch pretty quickly, and it being outside furniture, I was able to blast it down with a power hose. Not bad, right? Quick and easy? Nope. I walked back into a monstrosity. Poor guy ate the shit so fast, and it being shit, it didn't settle well. This isn't an exaggeration when I say that I counted 16 different piles of dog vomit feces throughout the house, most of it on the couches. I, for the next 12 hours, cleaned up my own shit turned dog vomit, basking in the smell of horrors for what felt like forever. I work at an office. The building is owned by my boss, who is too cheap to shell out for actual maintenance service and has employees do handy work around the clock. One day, it started to snow. The snow was sticking to the sidewalk and showed no signs of letting up, so of course me and my coworkers had to go out and clean it. So while my boss sat in his nice, cushy office, we start shoveling. One of my coworkers, let's call him X, is relatively new, and having grown up in an apartment complex, has never shoveled before. Well, maybe that contributed to what happened next. He starts pushing the shovel in front of him at a crotch level, and eventually, the shovel head gets stuck on a raised brick, and it pushes the handle end of the shovel into X's crotch. There was no shovel handle, because he had been given a broken shovel with a rusted end. Castration being imminent, X proceeds to tuck and roll off the sidewalk and into oncoming traffic. Fortunately for X, somebody grabbed him and pulled him back to safety. Boss drove him to the emergency room and paid for the resulting tetanus shot and 14 stitches on the inner thigh. Needless to say, he was not allowed to shovel again.